Sure. My name is Sam Eaton. I'm a retired firefighter from Florida, Palm Beach County area. This is OB from FDNY up the total other side of the country, the north side, in other words. So I'm a firefighter, retired. We met each other regarding all the things that the government has been doing to take away our freedoms, mainly starting with the vaccination mandates and things that went across the nation. We had firefighters, law enforcement, military, even my own family members that lost their careers or were forced to get a jab against their will during that time. This Rescue the Republic event embodies support against that type of thought process and the type of thought process that goes behind that. We're firefighters, grassroots. We came here volunteering to be part of a mass group of firefighters from across the nation, from Los Angeles, from New York, from the Washington, D.C. area, Maryland, and Virginia, as well as all the way down to South Florida. We came together to present an American flag and also to honor the fallen life of Corey Comparator, the fire chief from Buffalo Township in Pennsylvania that lost his life in the failed assassination attempt. It's an honor to be here with OB, and OB is an example of what I just talked about, an individual, a firefighter that had a career, that loved what he did, and because he was forced to get a vaccination, ended up becoming...
I succumbed to heart failure.
Wow.
At the age of 35.
Wow.
So like Sam said, I didn't know Sam. This wasn't a planned thing.
Mm-mm.
He's from down in Florida. I'm from New York. John is from California. This is all something that happened because we all have the same views on, our choices, our right to medical freedom, our right to say, I don't want this, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, so many of our brothers and sisters were forced to leave their jobs, their careers, their pensions and everything. And the irony in that is I succumbed, I caved, I did what they told me to do, even though I tried waiting for the last minute, and this is what happened. I got an anaphylactic reaction, I got myocarditis, and that led to heart failure at the age of 35. I was forced into retirement by the time I was 36 years old.
Are they even taking care of you now?
No, I get half benefits.
You get half benefits?
Yeah, that's because...
Are you angry, man? Are you pissed?
Oh, man. Angry is not the word, but I will tell you this. We've lost brothers, that have been in worse situations. There's people that have died that don't have a voice. This isn't about me. It's not about Sam. This is about all of us.
Mm-hmm.
This is for those that still can't say something.
Mm-hmm.
This is more than just what happened to me. So as upset as I am, as isolated as I feel, something needs to be done. This needs to be heard by everyone.
What do you think should happen to these people, man, that were so careless? Not only did they give individuals like you myocarditis, you got kids with developmental issues right now. You got literally futures destroyed. As a layman, that seems like treasonous that they did this.
Yeah, I mean, we all agree with you on that same level. Because at the end of the day, we're here because we need change. Something has to be done. And I can only hope that people are hearing Sam and people are hearing me and Bravest for Choice and Firefighters for Freedom and all these different coalitions that we wound up coming together to rescue the Republic.
Yep.
Absolutely. This isn't something that we pre-planned.
Yeah.
This isn't a speech that I got in my back pocket.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is just something that's coming from the heart that we all know something has to be done. And we can only hope that this will be heard on levels because for some reason, I don't know about you, but it feels like people would just much rather just turn the eye and make it seem like nothing's going on.
Yep.
What is going on with that, man? I think about my grandfather's generation, and if they did 1/10 of the shit they're doing, and I'm bringing in other stuff.
Sure.
Like sexualization of kids, what they're doing in the schools, taking away parents' rights. There would be blood on the streets. What's going on right now?
I think, for me, my father was a World War II veteran, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And when I think about those my parents and how they would view what's happening today, they would be out of their skin for that. I know 100%. Both of them were great leaders. My father was from the greatest generation, if you will. He had me at 51, so I had basically a grandfather growing up. But my point of that is, just like you said, all of that, the sacrifices on D-Day, the sacrifices in World War II, and of course the other conflicts, the other wars, the other engagements globally, that was for freedom, not just for us, for other nations. And we're connected here nationally, but this movement of firefighters and first responders and law enforcement is not just this nation. It's happening in Australia, Belgium, Netherlands, New Zealand, Canada. We have connected across the fabric on this one issue alone. We're grateful to the organizers for Rescue the Republic for recognizing who we were from before and making sure that we had an opportunity to show honor and taking that moment of silence for that fallen fire chief, but also carrying that most sacred thing, the American flag. So for us to have the chance to be in front of the public here today and show truly what the American Fire Service is all about, that you can't put a price on that.
What do you guys think is the best, like, what is the best avenue to getting out of this nonsense? I mean, is there any, like, political parties you guys are in line with? Is there any causes you guys are in line with? I mean, what do you see as the path forward, and do you have a unified idea of what that path forward looks like?
You know, even if Sam has different views politically than I do, to me, I think we all need to come together first and acknowledge the fact that there's change that needs to happen. You know, we have people that have stepped up. I mean, look at the way RFK is talking about let's make America healthy again, right? I couldn't agree more.
100%.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, that we got to start there, right? You know, politics is, you know, that's a different beast. You know, I try my best not to get involved with politics because I know that that's a touchy subject on a lot of people. But at the end of the day, I know that there needs to be change. And whatever's going on or has been going on, it doesn't seem to be working.
And I agree with OB on a lot of levels. And in this event, as well as to defeat the mandates that happened here in Washington, D.C. 2 years ago, when we went to Los Angeles and repeated that event in Los Angeles, if you looked at the fabric of the individuals that showed up today, it is across the board. It's libertarian, it's independents, it's Republicans. I'm sure
and
there's
Democrats
some Democrats as well that are part of this movement. Why? Because when it comes down to it, nobody can disagree. When you force somebody to do something against their God-given right, their body, and it creates an issue like this, or on the other side, when somebody says, I'm not going to take the vaccination, okay, I'm sorry, well, you lost your career. Everybody can identify with that.
Exactly.
We have to be able to find the things that make us common, the common things that we can agree upon, and build a platform from there. And there's plenty of that here. Like you mentioned, RFK, fantastic individual. I'd love to see him as part of the next administration, helping us to make America healthy again. I love it. He's the guy for that job, 100%. So I do agree that it needs to be a bipartisan approach, and it has to be something, we have to find the things that we agree upon and build upon that.
So RFK's talking about the pharmaceutical industry as a whole. I think is what he's getting to, because I've actually read the books that he's done with his writing partner, Brian Hooker, who's a 30-year PhD, studied all the vaccine damage, right? It seems as though the way those guys look at it, and I know, I mean, they literally think every single vaccine, they think the whole pharmaceutical industry has been built to destroy us. And I reference things also like fluoride in water, dropping IQs, kids becoming autistic, like, you know, where it was 1 in 1,000 30, 40 years ago. Now it's like they're saying that 1 out of 2 kids is going to be autistic soon, you know? So, I mean, what do you think about that? You think it's like this, it almost seems like a death cult to me, again, as a layman. What do you guys think is going on there?
You know, that's a tough one. How do I feel, you know, as to what do I think? Unfortunately, are we ever going to see the truth, the whole truth come out?
I think so.
You know, I agree.
I do.
You know, as much as we want to know the truth, I mean, accountability, right? People need to be held accountable.
Right.
I don't think that accountability is going to be taken yet at this point. You know, I would love for that. I'm sure Sam would love for that, because at the end of the day, this needs to change. People need to be held accountable, including, like you were saying, Big Pharma, you know?
Well, if you look at that too, from my standpoint, when I view exactly what you said right there, I wasn't awake to this until stuff like this happened. So I watched my brothers and sisters across. Thankfully, I'm from Florida. I had a governor that protected us. We had pretty much the protection of that governor to keep these things from happening to us. But we did, even though we had that, we still had certain counties that were after our firefighters. My point is this: if you look at this all hindsight and go back to what it is, there's clearly a money connection to all of this. There's clearly the companies are out there to do the bottom line is money and dollars. And when you're selling vaccinations that haven't been proven, when you put out a vaccination that has a intentionally left blank insert on it, that doesn't. All that tells me is something is nefarious about that. And clearly, if you look at the numbers of those pharmaceutical companies and the money that they've made on this thing, it's astronomical. Money's the bottom line on this, but lives are at stake. And you're talking about the health of our youth, the health of our food supplies. All that stuff needs to be looked at again, especially after what we've seen in the last 4 years.
All right, now I'm going to ask you a really off the beaten path question, right? You're firefighters. You're from New York, right? 9/11. What's your thoughts on that?
You don't want to hear my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
A lot of people. That's. It's crazy you say that too.
I do want to hear your thoughts on that, actually.
I'm not going to dive into that one because although I wasn't at 9/11, I was a teenager when that happened. 9/11 affected me just like I'm sure it affected Sam, just like I'm sure it affected you.
Yeah.
Are we ever going to hear the truth? I'm pretty sure we're not. You know what I mean? There's too much corruption coming in from every different angle. There's money involved. There's politics involved. What I do know?
Yeah.
I felt like I was crazy when this was coming out, but I said I wasn't at 9/11 when it happened. But am I crazy to say that this kind of felt a little bit like it was leading in the same pattern as 9/11? Come down here. Come help us.
Yeah.
It's safe to breathe the air. Yeah. And all of a sudden, guys are dying.
Yep.
Guys are getting affected.
Sure.
I said that from day one. Is it just me? But I was crazy. I was just a conspiracy theorist,
Yeah.
It's real easy to be labeled a conspiracy theorist when you raise questions.
That's how they shut you up.
Yeah.
It is. Everybody should be a free thinker. I would say to anybody watching this, open your mind. Look at what's happened just on the pharmaceutical side this last 4 years. And when you take a look at that, don't think that that's the parameter of deception. It's not the parameter of being nefarious. Those things extend in a lot of different ways. I don't know the truth on 9/11, and I'll just say this. We lost 343 your department lost 343 firefighters. Since that time, last year, September, we lost another 343. Now, we're past it now to cancer because of that mound. And the impact of that one event has been astronomical.
That's right.
For us, looking at this from a fire service, we all have our own opinions. A lot of things don't add up, but bottom line is, we've got a lot of other fish to fry.
Yeah.
Like we do. Absolutely. But we got to be aware of what's happening and keep our minds open and be open to the discussion.
Open to and willing to stand up for something that needs to be changed.
Yeah. The reason I mentioned 9/11 is if you're thinking the same, I don't even call it conspiracy theories anymore. We actually have a show on our network called Conspiracy Truths, right? Mm-hmm. And so it just seems as though if the theory you're thinking, which is what I'm thinking, which is probably what you're thinking, it seems as though the government or these elected officials look at us like we're disposable.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
What is it? The difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy truth is about 6 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally, it just give it a little time. It'll be a truth soon. But
well, could I say one thing? We interview a lot of people on the America Happens Network, and it's actually very sad. So much information that is verifiable has been left out from the mainstream media. So people are like, "Oh, the truth's not out there." I could tell you, I've interviewed a lawyer that has a 23-year case that is still to be heard by the federal courts, that has undeniable 100% proof that what you're thinking and what you're thinking and what I'm thinking is actually what happened.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this. I think when somebody says, "Oh my God, don't do your own research," that's what you did. There was never a problem doing your own research before. We're supposed to do that. That's how we get better at what we are.
Now you can't even trust your Google search.
100%. Well, there you go. So when you research, you got to watch your sources.
Yep.
You should have multiple sources when you're doing something like that. But for us, bottom line is that you don't shame me because I did my own research. I've done a lot of it, and I tell you what I'm seeing. A lot of stuff doesn't add up.